Let's give another round of applause for Smitty. Smitty and Caitlin and Mark, we all love you. Thank you for everything you did to help Jerry do so much for all of us. Give a round of applause for Smitty. And let me start just not by talking about myself, but I want to talk about Jerry Connolly for a second. And I've had the opportunity to do that a lot over the last several months. And the word I have used time after time after time is singular. He is a singular figure in our community, in Fairfax County, in Northern Virginia, and in the nation. And nobody will have the impact that he has had. You can go throughout Northern Virginia and see his work, whether it's the Oakton Library, the Mosaic District, the Jerry Connolly Cross-Country Trail, the Silver Line. But the thing that's most powerful actually is the thing that doesn't have a sign, it's not on a map. What's most powerful about his impact is the impact he had on so many lives. The kind word he had for a constituent who was going through a struggle. The support and guidance and mentorship he gave hundreds and hundreds of staff and interns and volunteers like myself that has shaped our lives. I can remember a time we were in the district office in Annandale and we were going back to back to back to back meetings, and you know, I was always the one trying to keep the meetings going, and he was always the one that wanted to keep talking. and a guy came without a meeting and said he wanted to talk to Congressman Connolly, and Jerry being Jerry said, absolutely, bring him in. Didn't care about the schedule. The guy who came sat down and told a story that he was unhoused. He had been homeless. And a program that Jerry started when he was on the Board of Supervisors allowed him to find a home and overcome addictions. And that day, he was inviting his daughter to visit him in his new home, his new apartment for the very first time. Wow. There are thousands and thousands of stories like that. And people have said to me, if you win this election, you're going to have big shoes to fill. And that is absolutely true. But the truth is, all of us have to fill those shoes. All of us have to. I want to do a few thank yous. Where's Sue? Incredible Sue Langley. Thank you. Next time, but this is amazing, and all of the volunteers who have helped Sue. I want to thank my campaign team and staff, led by Donald, and a lot of them are here. Some of them are out knocking on doors and talking to voters. I want to thank all of the elected officials who have endorsed our campaign and are supporting us. Next week, we will announce the 50th federal, state, or local elected official who is endorsing our campaign. Wow. And thank you all so much. And I absolutely want to thank the loves of my life, my incredible wife Yvette, and our son Mateo. In-laws, Bob and Annette, who are here somewhere. Thank you all for your support. But I want to thank all of you, first and foremost. We have a lot of great support from elected officials, but the most important supporters we have are you. Hundreds and hundreds of grassroots supporters and volunteers across the 11th District who are committed to our campaign and have stepped up to help us. So give yourselves a round of applause. me very well, but for those who don't, I'm a lifelong Northern Virginian. I was born and raised here in Northern Virginia. My grandfather grew up on a farm in Chantilly. Spoiler, it's not there anymore. I come from a working class family. My dad was a plumber, my mom was a nurse, and I learned 3 lessons growing up. First, you work as hard as you can each and every day. Second, you do the right thing, especially when it's hard. And third, maybe most importantly right now, you never back down to a bully.
Yeah.
When I was 26 years old, as Smitty mentioned, I got the opportunity of a lifetime when Jerry Connolly asked me to be his chief of staff in Congress. I was by his side for 11 years. We passed the Affordable Care Act. We delivered millions and millions of dollars in federal funding and economic development for Fairfax and Northern Virginia, and we stood up for federal employees each and every day. And I was there as his chief of staff during the first Trump administration, when Democrats in Congress stood up, spoke out, and pushed back. When they tried to repeal the Affordable Care Act, millions of Americans raised their voices, and we stopped them. We saved the Affordable Care Act. When they tried to abolish OPM, we stopped them. When they tried to implement Schedule F to eliminate our nonpartisan civil service, we stopped them. So we can stop Trump. We've done it before. When I was elected to the Board of Supervisors in 2019, I flipped a Republican-held seat. I've been held by a Republican for 10 years. And probably 1,000 times, Jerry Connolly told me, you don't get elected to office to keep a seat warm. You get elected to office to get things done for the people that you represent.
Yeah.
That's what I've done on the Board of Supervisors. I led our effort working with my incredible colleagues, took on the NRA, and banned guns from our libraries, our parks, and our rec centers. We've led the Commonwealth in implementing the red flag law to keep guns out of the hands of We've invested in our schools. $500 million increase in county funding for schools in the 5 years I've been on the Board of Supervisors. Despite what you hear from Glenn Youngkin and some folks in Richmond, we continue to have the best schools in this Commonwealth and some of the best. As chair of our environmental committee, I've led our efforts to tackle climate change. We've installed solar panels on county buildings and electrified our vehicle fleet. And Chairman McKay and I, working together, led the effort to pass historic reforms for workers in Fairfax County. Collective bargaining. Prevailing wage ordinance, so workers on county projects get fair wages and good benefits. And today I'm running for Congress because we're in a 5-alarm fire moment for our country. The red lines have been crossed. The Trump administration is violating the Constitution daily. They're disappearing people into foreign prisons. They're waging war on Americans in Los Angeles right now as we speak. They're illegally purging and firing federal employees. I just want to stop here. Are there any federal employees or former federal employees in the room? Stand up. 2024, I and my Democratic colleagues on the Board of Supervisors got a letter from Stephen Miller. And the letter said, if in Fairfax County we don't agree to turn our local police into Trump's mass deportation force, that they would put us in jail. And some of you all probably remember Nancy Pelosi at Trump's State of the Union. She ripped up a piece of paper. That's what I did with that letter. So we're in a critical moment right now, as Jeff said, and this will be a special election. We have a primary on June 28th. We need everyone to go out and vote in that primary. I have a general election on September 9th. We need everyone to go out and vote in that special election. Because it's a special election, there is no orientation or training program. I can remember in December of 2009, Jerry Connolly and I walking to the Capitol to go through the new member orientation. You get to learn how the House of Representatives works. You get to learn where the bathrooms are. You get to learn how the committees work and the floor procedures work. Whoever's elected in this district will not have that luxury. There'll be a special election, and someone will be sworn in as soon as the next day, potentially, shortly thereafter. So we need somebody who has the experience to do the job and do the job well on day one, because the stakes are very high right now. Let me just tell you how I see the job. It's pretty simple. Step number one is in Congress, Democrats, we have to put the brakes on this dangerous and reckless Trump administration. And I have a three-part process. First is investigate. Democrats in Congress need to be investigating the Trump administration, their corruption, their incompetence, and their law breaking. The American people need to hear these stories, the stories that the federal workers in this room know about the terrible things that are taking place with this administration. Second is litigate. We've had a lot of success around the country in putting the brakes on the Trump administration in the courts. And we have to continue that pressure. As a member of Congress, I would look to get my constituents' voices and stories into those courtrooms so they are heard and we can work with the courts to stop this unconstitutional, illegal administration from continuing. And third, and how many folks today were out at the No Kings rallies? You get special credit for being out there and still coming here. I appreciate you all. I was at 6 or 7 of the No Kings rallies today. Huge crowds. Huge crowds. And every Democratic member of Congress in this moment must be working night and day to help to mobilize and organize the resistance to the Trump administration. And I will be there at every rally, at every protest, by your side. Because here's the thing. Authoritarians across history, across the world, what they fear the most is not politicians, it's not judges. What they fear the most is you, the people. They fear the people. And that's what today, No King's Day, is about. This is a country built on the rule of law. This is a country, to quote the great former delegate Ken Plum that I was with earlier today, our founding documents say, we the people control our destiny in this country. Trump, J.D. Vance, their MAGA allies in Congress, their hope is that we are scared. They want the chaos that they're creating in the streets in Los Angeles, the chaos that they're creating across the globe, the chaos that they try to create in our communities to make us fearful. But we can't be afraid. Because if we stand together, they cannot beat us. They cannot beat us. That's what I ask of all of you between now and June 28th, between then and September 9th, is to continue to stand with us in this fight, and I will continue to stand with you all. Thank you so much for coming.